Good evening, everybody. It's 9:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 on the West Coast. Time for your Calamity Jane live stream. James, how are you doing on this wonderful evening?
I gotta say, that's a pretty impressive intro. That's probably your best intro for us that we've had in a while. I mean, you always do a great intro, but
Oh,
that one had a little bit of uh, that one had a little bit of extra sauce on it. It
just a
sounded
little, yeah, it's just a touch. I got to be honest. When I got into it, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one. Don't screw it up. This is the one.
you never should you well okay I can't say you
No,
never
don't never say
yeah
never.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah yeah
yeah,
but that was good. I'm doing great, so it sounds like you're doing great according to I mean, just based on a limited exchange right there of an
yeah. No,
intro.
I'm doing pretty well right now. I think it was because Facebook and Instagram were down all day, and like I couldn't, feed that addiction. And I feel like I was released from the evil monster for a day, and now it's just like, what do I do with myself?
Yeah. I wonder how, I mean, like, again, I don't ever use Facebook that much. I mean, we use Twitter, and Facebook for Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Facebook for, I am not habitually on that thing at all. I'm terrible at social media.
I never,
But,
yeah, yeah.
but I
I
wonder,
never, like, I rarely post, but like, when I need to just divert my eyes for a second and I know that Google News hasn't updated, I'll turn on Facebook or Instagram
uh,
and I'll scroll it for like a minute. And then, okay, great, my eyes looked at something else, and then I'll go back to something else. I
yeah,
rarely post, though. I'm a horrible lurker.
yeah. But I wonder, like, with people that do habitually, like, they spend an hour or maybe longer on that. I wonder how they felt today, like if they felt unplugged or detached or felt better.
I mean,
I'm wondering.
yeah, judging from the articles that I read today, it was a little bit of everything. Some
Huh.
people are like, oh, I should do this more often. And other people are like, oh my God, my life is falling apart right now.
Yeah.
I was in the camp of like, oh, it's down. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I was at too. But I know how impactful social media is for people's lives. So
Well, it
like I was
impacted me significantly today. Actually, the this I'm working on an article, and there's not a lot of like current assets because it's discontinued food from Krispy Kreme. And the way I get around that is I look for candid shots from people's personal profiles on Facebook and Instagram, which I don't know how the copyright laws work, but apparently we're allowed to use them. And I couldn't today, so I wasn't able to finish the article because there was a couple of assets I really needed to source from Facebook.
oh my God.
Yeah, so it actually impacted my livelihood, Facebook and Instagram being down. Not
Wow.
significantly so, but enough.
Enough to make it, yeah, inconvenience. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
But
Well, the good thing is we don't need Facebook or Instagram to
no,
do it.
no,
As long as
no.
YouTube works, we're good.
That's right. Google didn't go down. Google was like doing the evil money grab
Yeah, they're
thing all
loving life.
day.
Yeah.
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 But no, the other reason I'm in good spirits is because I got my computer back. I'm not on my backup machine anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe watching our stream can see,
That's
as
a,
I've noticed,
right. Yeah, my big bright red round head is
colors are more
a
saturated, they're
little
more
bit
vibrant. The blues are
vibrant.
more blue,
Yeah, sure, sure. Whatever floats your boat, my friend. Whatever gets you up in the morning, I say go for it.
Yeah. But it is good. I'm glad you got your computer back because now
Yeah,
you're
I mean, I've been doing like I did sound design for a play, um, and it was, that old computer is a workhorse, right? It saved my butt for the last 6.5 weeks. That's how long it took to get my computer back. And the only thing that was broken with it is a fan. The CPU fan died on it. I had the computer for 3 months and the CPU fan died on it. So
yeah,
of course they
too
fixed
bad
it,
luck.
for free.
Yeah.
Um, but it took them 6 weeks. But yeah, so I did the sound design on this one play, and yeah, you could feel how slow it was just doing all of the processing and mastering all the audio and doing all the denoising and that kind of stuff. And then so I'm working on a new play now, and I just started doing the sound design, and it's like, oh man, I mean, it just goes so much faster.
So those the smooth like butter.
Oh God, yes. The old machine, like you'd hit audition, and then I'd go and I'd get a glass of water, like vamp for a couple of minutes, and then audition would finally open. And so I
Mhm.
sat down to start working on sound design for this one, and I went boop, and it went boop, and it was open and ready to use. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for this.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah, because this machine, like my old machine, has just an old standard disk-based hard drive,
Mhm.
and this machine has got one of those newfangled hard drive chips. It's literally just a chip that's on the main board, so
Yeah.
it's basically like it's even faster than a solid state drive because
Hmm.
there's no buses or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's connected
Yeah.
directly to the main board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it's like it screams. It's so fast, I don't even know what to do with myself.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great.
So I'm
I
glad to
love
have it back.
I like it when hardware and humans are peaceful. Like they've extended a peace treaty and they get along. And that's great. I'm
I
glad to hear that.
I
On your
agree.
side.
Yeah, a truce has been called. The war of the fans has been. There's a ceasefire been called on the war of the fans for the time being.
Yeah. Um, well, I'll get back into speaking of wars. Like
Mm,
as we did last week, I was at war with my Mac Mini,
that's
and it
right. I recall. Yeah, and you had to screenshot the dead file.
yeah. But fortunately, I guess it did save, so I
Oh,
have the file. So I'm going to continue a little more exploration on Identity Thief tonight as we hang out.
okay.
So I'll share my screen and
Well, you're not going to be able to. Give me 2 seconds because I just realized I
uh,
forgot to do it.
what?
Okay, it happens.
All because of a new
It's
computer.
I
You
yeah
get a
I don't
computer, you feel all the power. You feel all that power going to your head already.
use.
Um, your well colored ratio saturated hue
That's
values.
right. Yeah. No, I'm pretty. My dome is pretty blown out on my right side because that's where my light is. I need to buy one of those newfangled like fancy ring lights, but probably not because my big old thick magnifying lens glasses with the blue filters, all you'd see are like the reflection of the ring light if I did that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I guess that'd be true. I have a ring light here. I couldn't get into it. I feel like it's just
It's
heat, like
too
it's too
yeah.
bright. Like, in one corner of your eye, just sitting there. It feels like it was burning my retinas. Like I can't do it. So I just
No, I agree.
I don't have a face video. I only have so I don't care as long as I'm minimized small. That's all that matters to me, and we're good. So
Yeah,
for me, I'm
I'm
not.
not an influencer, so I don't
Yeah,
really need a
yeah,
ring light, I feel.
yeah. But Um, as far as our where we left off last week, I know that we liked this version pretty much. It seemed like you were leaning more towards that guy, huh?
I like the idea of this guy who commits an extremely destructive but ultimately pretty petty crime, suffering from an inferiority complex, and so he overcompensates by building this advanced supervillain armor, which, as we
Yeah,
discussed, is sort of in my blue skying excuse me, in my blue skying last week, sort of referenced the Bloodsport character from the new Suicide Squad film, where
yeah.
he actually takes off piece of his armor to construct his gun, and it was just such a dumb, stupid idea that I thought it was such an appropriate thing for
Just
this
yeah,
dumb, stupid villain. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so for me, when I looking at the file as as it was resurrected here, my obviously for me, I mean, I do like this dude right here on the side. I could probably I'll play with him. I'll put some armor on him later.
Yeah.
This drawing here is awful. The proportions are way off. I mean,
Sure. 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 Sure.
garbage drawing, but it does give me a general impression that I want to do with him.
I mean,
For his
I'm not against like making the identity thief a little portly,
really
and then like
okay.
having sort of his rolls squeezed out from underneath the armor, almost like he got the armor when he was thinner, and now
Yeah,
he's kind of squeezing himself into it. I think that's a funny idea. I mean, I would maybe lean away from the beret. I just that version of him, I just felt like he should be holding a baguette and riding a bike down the Champs Elysees in Paris.
so yeah, so that drawing it was a quick drawing. I was trying to get the impression it was a cabbie hat, not a
Oh,
bird.
okay, okay.
Yeah, but I mean we could push that a little bit more, but um, like those classic New York driver cabbie hats. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely.
that was the plan. But yes, if you saw Beret, I'll have to just kind of play with that a little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna try to do a new pose here tonight.
Okay. Ooh, I love
Um,
the diagonal lines already.
yeah, yeah. This pose is in my head, and I wanted to just kind of get it out real quick.
Mm-hmm. Well, while you talk, since we're on sort of the topic of costumes, I have completed my costume for my Halloween character this year.
Wait, you're dressing up for Halloween?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I don't have any plans yet, but I assume something will come along.
Okay.
I am going as Colin Robinson from the TV show What We Do in the Shadows.
It's kind of cheap for you though. I mean,
I know it's
you
easy.
already
It's an
have the
easy
head.
one.
Yeah.
So I went to Goodwill and I found everything that I was looking for. I mean, they're a little bit baggy, but I think it's pretty appropriate for Colin Robinson. Um, so yeah, I've got like kind of bland greenish slacks and a beige cardigan and a white shirt, and I got this amazingly bad tie that just seems perfect. I just need to learn how to do a double Windsor because he's got that big old knot on his neck instead of a small one, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. And I got to go to the store and buy some. I didn't feel like buying socks from Goodwill. That just seemed like a recipe for disaster. So,
Mhm.
so I got to go to the store and buy some beige socks. But I do have a pair of like dress shoes that are perfect for the outfit. So all I got to
That's
do
so.
is shave this thing off, and then I'm ready to
You're gonna
go. Yeah.
Colin Robinson. Yeah, he's I love that show. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm watching. I mean, me and I were watching the current season right now, so we're pretty much caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I can't believe they're
yeah,
already 5 episodes in to the new season.
yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. I'm not sure about this season compared to other seasons. But that's okay. I mean, I'm always laughing at it. I think the characters are hilarious. So all I care about is just seeing them spew lines, and the actors, the comedians are hilarious. So it works for me. You know what's funny is I never saw the movie.
Oh, okay.
I
You know, you
know
you,
now.
you hound me for things that I should be watching and don't watch. Now it's
Yeah,
my turn. You need to
yeah.
correct this mistake immediately.
So let's catch up on. So we usually talk about this offline, but I've given Eric homework. I've given you homework to
Yes,
watch Hacks
yes.
and
Derry
Reservation
Girls and Reservation
and Derry
Dogs,
Girls. Yes, all three of those are must watch.
and Alice in Borderlands, which I
And
still
Alice
haven't.
in Borderlands,
Yeah.
which, yeah. Now, okay. With that being said, that's what I've given you for homework. That's been a long-standing theme for a while.
And it's true, and I haven't watched any of them, but I have a reasonable excuse. I have gone down a rabbit hole of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my girlfriend is a huge fan of Bob's Burgers,
Mm-hmm.
and she was referencing quotes from it because it's her favorite TV show ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I had forgotten how funny it is. I've seen every episode. I've watched it since the very beginning, but it's starting its 12th season. It's been on for over a decade, which it just blows my mind that it's been on that long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she was making all these references to these episodes, and I just was not remembering them. So I was like, well, I'll go back and I'll watch a couple of episodes. So I put on the pilot. And I'm like, oh man, it's so good. I'll just watch one more episode. And I watched the second episode. Oh, it's so good. And now, like 3 weeks later, I'm halfway through season 9, and at this point, it's just it's like a disease, and I just have to let it work its way through my system. And so I'm just deep into Bob's Burgers until that finally wraps up.
So tell me about the magic of Bob's Burgers. I've never watched an episode myself.
Well, it's
I
got
tried.
yeah.
I mean, I've tried watching Family Guy, for example.
No. Don't waste your time doing that. That show is awful.
Yeah, and so to me, all and then this is again with no knowledge of the show, but it feels like just another dad show that bumbles around and does things because they all are borrowing from Homer Simpson. That's what it feels like. And I've watched Homer
Yeah,
Simpson, enjoyed those
yeah.
shows. So,
Well, no, I mean Bob is not dumb. I mean he's a loving, caring father who
okay,
is long suffering, but he's not an imbecile or a buffoon
okay,
like Homer is. It's a really genuine heartfelt show where everybody in the family is insane, right? Of course,
Mm-hmm.
um, but in a lovable way, and they love each other and they accept each other for who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which and it's great. And then they get into these hilarious antics. Um, and it works on not only on a writing level. The writing is incredibly clever, but the voice actors are just I mean just really stellar performers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the two leads, the two main names you'll recognize are John Benjamin and Kristen Shaw. John Benjamin, famously from Archer and Home Movies, which Lauren Bashard did create as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays Bob, and then you've got Kristen Shaw, who is just amazing in
Mm-hmm.
everything she does. Who's she's in What We Do in the Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
She really got on the map with the old HBO show Flight of the Conchords.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and she was phenomenal in that. And of course, she's gone on to everybody knows who Kristen Shaw is. She was in Last Man on Earth, and she's done a ton of movies. And she plays the youngest Belcher child, Louise, and it's just great. And then you've got Dan Mintz, who plays Tina, and John Roberts, who plays Linda, and Eugene. Oh, I don't remember his last name. He plays Gene. Oh, you got a FaceTime.
I got a FaceTime for some reason.
Uh oh, from some random number.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a scam call on.
So that's the beauty of having a Mac Mini is, I guess I could do
I guess you could
Face.
take calls on your computer. There you go.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. On my Windows machine, I don't have to worry about that. I can just hit
Yeah, I
mute
know. I'm certain you can turn that off, but in typical Mac fashion, everything is turned on by
on
default.
turn on. Yeah, I didn't know I had to. Yeah. Anyway, well,
Anyway,
so
yeah. So it's just great. The stories are really heartfelt. They're really genuinely funny. There's an amazing cast of guest stars: Keegan Michael Key, Jordan Peele, Tim Meadows, Ron Hubel, Fred Armisen,
wow,
Jim
geez.
Gaffigan, Paul F. Tompkins, Megan Mullally, Nick Offerman, Molly Shannon. I mean, it's just like it goes on and on and on and on. The pedigree of actors they get to do characters on the show.
Hmm.
And it's a really delightful show, and it's been on for 12 seasons, and it's frankly still as good as it was in the pilot. They never lost the sense of what the show was, like The Simpsons did, right? And it
Hmm.
never changed. Like South Park is a fundamentally different show than when it originally aired, and for the better, I think. But it's very different than when it started.
Hmm.
And Bob's has just stayed this really nice, funny, loving family that gets into insane antics, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, it's just it's just really great. It's a great show. It's full of puns, and I don't love puns, but for some reason when they do them in Bob's Burgers, it's hilarious.
Hmm.
So
So you've explained everything that I did not know about the show and I did not expect, and it does sounds different enough
I
to.
would definitely give it a shot, and it's quite frankly like even from the pilot, when you watch like The Office or Parks and Rec or a bunch of other shows, the thing you always hear fans say is just watch the first season. It's terrible,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
get through it, and then I promise it gets better. You don't have to say that with Bob's Burgers. It's like it's great from episode one.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I'll
like just
definitely.
like one of my favorite jokes is Bob and Eugene are gonna go do something, and Bob says, "Well, we're gonna go do this thing, and I guess we'll figure it out when we get there." And Eugene's response is, "Like the Iraq War." I mean, it's just like there's all these just simple, like hilarious throwaway lines that you aren't expecting, and it just completely catches you off guard.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it stays. I mean, that was, I guess, kind of a political joke, but not really. It remains like delightfully non-political and non-partisan and non-judgmental. Um, Yeah, it's just really great. It's just a really really good show, and so I've just kind of gotten lost in it for a little bit, and I just kind of need to have it work its way through my system a little bit.
So rewind a little bit. So he's running a burger joint, right? That's the whole point. Is
Yeah,
it
he
everything?
owns his own small little,
Okay.
always on the verge of failure burger joint.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah, and then of course Kevin Kline plays their landlord, Mr. Fishoder, and
Hmm.
then Zach Galifianakis plays Mr.
Ah,
Fishoder's brother, Felix. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just like there's just this crazy amount of just really celebrated actors and actresses um, who show up on the show.
yeah, it sounds like the voice talent's definitely impressive. I mean, it's a yeah, that's pretty cool. Um,
Oh yeah, and Dave Herman, famously from Office Space, he does a bunch of voices on the show. Quite a good voice actor actually.
mhm.
And then there was one where Adam Driver did a guest voice, and he apparently can do really good voices because it did not sound anything like Adam Driver. He
Huh.
did a great job of just affecting a completely different voice.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, but oh
Um,
yeah, and of course like Bill Hader is a reoccurring character. I mean the list goes on and on and on.
so now them being around for a decade, they have a lot of lore and stuff that's kind of been built into
Oh
the show.
yeah, but they don't rely on that, right? It's not like Seinfeld in the last seasons where if you hadn't seen all of it, even though it was an episodic show, like you wouldn't get any of the in jokes, right? I
Mhm.
mean, there's definitely stuff that you'll miss, but it's even now in its 12th season, it's very watchable.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you did a lot of drawing there, and then erased all of it.
The good news is it's not a race. It's right here.
Okay.
That's just one take. I was gonna do my cab driver version of him too.
Okay.
Um,
Ready. I'm ready
but
for it.
yeah,
And I mean,
yeah.
like, if you don't like the supervillain getup idea that I kind of went down the rabbit hole of, that's fine. I'm not gonna. It's the character itself. I think still works as a supervillain, regardless of the armor. So
Yeah, I think so too. I think the general gist of the powers totally do work. Yeah, but I'm just kind of feeling it out a little bit.
yeah, of
Just
course, of course.
um, just to kind of push around, see how it would feel with a couple different takes. And like I said, this we may not even go with gear like you were saying. I mean, it could be something else.
Yeah, I mean, my only comment, and I'm always happy for exploration, but right now a lot of our villains, well, all of our male villains are portly.
Oh,
Animator,
really?
big city lawyer, even Mayor, who isn't really a
He's not a villain,
villain,
no.
but he is kind of a foil. But yeah, both big city lawyer and the animator have exactly the same body type as sort of
Yeah, they
the
are.
fat
They're heavy
cabbie.
set. Huh? Yeah, that's a good point. We need to get some skinny dudes. Yeah, so we may have
So
to kind of get away from this one. Get away from this one.
yeah, I
And
mean that's my only. I
yeah.
mean, again, if he needs to be fat, and that frankly could be a gag. I mean, we could find a way to make that a gag, but
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
know. I think having a little bit of differentiation might be the way to go. And one thing we could do to play around with it is it doesn't have to be human.
mhm.
I mean, Big City Lawyer is, and the animator is. We have plenty of human, male human villains for Calamity. So it could be,
We can make him a troll dude.
yeah, Troll. He could be a green alien. He could be, anything we want him to be. It could be a Cylon. A Cylon who has decided he doesn't want to fight in the wars anymore, and and instead steal people's identities.
Yeah. Boy, Silent. I never will trust. Ron Moore was a writer on that. I'll never trust anything he does ever again.
You know, it's so weird because he was the heart and soul of Star Trek: The Next Generation towards the end, and he
and Deep Space Nine too, I
yeah, and
believe.
Deep Space Nine, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird that he has such a successful run under his belt, and I just never could get into Battlestar Galactica.
I loved it until that last 2 seasons, and it just all fell apart. And after that, I was like, no, never again, Ron Moore. You
Yeah,
wasted my. So, but it
eh,
doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't have to write at all. I mean, I don't think he cares. I mean, why would he care what me as a little fan says at this point? He
yeah,
got my eyeballs for a while, so yeah. I keep doing this. Going back to the drawing, I keep doing this pose, because I want to do something where like you're on the phone and he's like kind of
yeah.
telling you, "Shut up,
Right,
I'm on the
right.
phone." And he's trying to somebody's identity. I suppose I'm trying to do here, generally speaking, but um, yeah, kind of do more of a Nosferatu or a troll type of thing here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this one's not doing it for me though.
No,
To be honest.
yeah, doing a literal troll might be a little on the nose.
Yeah, yeah. I am kind of. I mean, just based on what we said, this is. I think this guy feels closer to what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, I think you brought up some good points. Um, we want some variety, so yeah, I think this is kind of the winner at this point. I mean, he could be. We could make him an alien or something like that too, but something about him being human and being identity thief. I mean, it just feels more natural for him to be human in this one.
Okay.
I mean, not to say that we don't have villains that could be otherworldly of sorts, I
For
guess,
sure. For sure. Yeah.
in our vault. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and they could honestly too. Some of those characters could be like wearing human suits, like in Men in Black, the first Men in Black movie. So
uh, yep.
that's yeah. But it's in this sketch, it looks like, maybe, I don't know that it's intentional or not, but it kind of looks like his belly button is poking out a little bit.
Well, that's just
Um,
a sketch here. That's just a product of the sketch. But I can tweak that in a
no, no,
second.
no. I'm saying
You like it?
I still like the idea the suit is ill-fitting, right? Like
Oh,
maybe
really?
maybe he's skinny, but like maybe it's like too short, or the sleeves aren't long enough, right?
Okay.
Have you ever seen or read? Sorry, have you ever read any of? I think it's Bill Pope. His take on like Batman Year 100. Have you ever read
No.
that?
Uh-uh.
Really, really interesting book. He's got a very strange art style, and one of the things that he does, it's like the person who dons the mantle of Batman 100 years in the future after the setting of the main continuity. There's sort of like Batman has become a legend, and he's sort of trying to revitalize the myth of Batman, and so
Mhm.
he makes his own suit, and it's somewhat ill-fitting, right? So he's got the gloves, but the sleeves on his suit are just a little bit too short, right?
Mhm.
It's this interesting touch that makes the character look very homegrown and not
Mhm.
super polished and rich like Bruce Wayne is, right?
Mhm.
And so I always thought that was a really interesting take on the costuming. Um, and yeah, was it Bill Pope? I think it was Bill Pope. But in any case, so I just like the idea of slightly ill-fitting costume.
I actually want to see like
Yeah, let's see. I can. Oh yeah, you're pulling it up.
yeah. Let's see.
It's not Bill Pope. Bob. It's
Batman 100, huh? Batman
Batman.
100.
Batman Year 100, and it was Paul Pope, right? Is that what it is? I've already donated.
Is this it?
Paul
Paul.
Pope. Yeah, there you go. And you see he's almost wearing like a sweatshirt, and it's a little bit ill-fitting, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, it's a really great book. Paul Pope's got a very uh, weird art style, but it really works for the story that he tries to tell here.
What's
Um,
the deal with him having fangs and stuff?
I don't remember
Um,
the context for that. I think that that's a nightmare sequence, or
okay.
it's false teeth that he's putting in. I don't remember
Oh,
anymore.
could be
It's been
played.
so long since I've read it,
Hmm.
but it is. I remember it being quite good. Paul
Hmm.
Pope actually also did this really great. Um, let's see, what is it? Where is it? He did this. It's like independent book um, that is a really great kind of battling boy. That's right, battling boy. Um, uh, it's this premise that gods have come down to Earth and are posing as superheroes or supervillains, rather. Or no, the gods are the superheroes, and there's these strange demons that are fighting them. And
Hmm.
so, literal gods assume the mantle of superheroes in this world that's ravaged by these strange demons.
Hmm.
Uh, Really fun, and it really works for his art style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Paul Pope's good comic writer. I like a lot of his stuff. So
Huh.
yeah,
Cool.
and it's done 3 volumes. I can't remember if I've read the first. I have Battling Boy and the Rise of Aurora West. Aurora West. I don't remember if I've read The Fall of House West yet. But
Hmm. Very cool.
oh, okay. Yeah, he didn't do. Yeah, okay. Looks like he didn't do the art for Volume 2 and Volume 3. That's right. He only did the art for the first one. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. But in any case, you can see he's definitely got a style.
Hmm. Definitely. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We have a little bit of a discussion about some pop culture comic book stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's, we
But
don't we surprisingly don't reference comic books as much as I feel like we would.
yeah, I'm surprised we don't. You know what it is though, is because we don't read them anymore. So
No, I know. Neither one of us particularly like the direction that most corporate comics have gone, frankly. And so most of the comics that we're going to reference are from like this is
yeah.
surprisingly contemporary for the comics that we usually are talking about
Hmm.
because this was like less than a decade old, close to, but not quite.
Yeah. 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 Well, cool.
Cool. Well, we're at 33 minutes, so I think that is a good place to wrap it up. I think we answered a few questions about the identity thief. We talked about TV a little bit, and we even managed to squeeze in a little bit of comic book geekdom. So I'd say it was a nice,
It's a well-rounded.
well-rounded stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, cool.
All right. Well, we'll sign off. We'll leave it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in or watching it on the in the archives, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Take
Stay
care.
safe. Okay, it's